When I first met Emily, she looked like a storm that had already passed through itself, hollow-eyed and carrying a sadness that clung to her like fog. We met through mutual friends who thought we'd get along, but my first thought was, this woman's been through something heavy. I wasn't wrong. Emily had just come out of a long, toxic relationship. Her ex had left her for a man, leaving behind shattered trust and a mountain of self-doubt. I should have run the moment I saw the pain in her smile, but something about her, something fragile yet fierce, kept me there. She moved into my apartment as a temporary roommate when her lease ended suddenly. I told myself it was just to help her get back on her feet, but deep down, I wanted to be near her, even if she was broken, even if it meant getting hurt. The first few weeks were awkward. She barely spoke, avoided eye contact, and spent most nights curled on the couch watching old movies. But sometimes I'd catch her humming softly when she cooked, or laughing quietly at a text from her sister. Little flashes of who she was before the heartbreak. I started leaving her little notes in the kitchen, nothing serious. Coffee's fresh. You did great with your presentation. Don't forget you're doing amazing. She'd reply with doodles a smiley face. A tiny flower, a thank you heart. It became our silent language. One night, I came home to find her crying quietly on the balcony. I hesitated, not sure if she wanted comfort, but she looked up and whispered, "Can I just have a hug?" That was the first time I held her. She melted into my arms, trembling like she'd been holding her breath for months. I didn't say anything. I just held her until her breathing slowed. That night, she fell asleep on the couch, and I covered her with a blanket, brushing a strand of hair from her face. I remember thinking, maybe broken people aren't meant to be fixed, maybe. They just need to be loved differently. Over time, she started opening up. Late night talks turned into laughter. We'd cook together, dance in the kitchen, and binge watch shows until sunrise. Her smile started to look real again. And every time she laughed, I felt something bloom inside me. Then one night, while we were washing dishes, she said softly, "You make me feel safe." My heart stopped. I didn't know what to say. I just reached out, touched her hand, and she didn't pull away. She looked up at me, eyes glassy but warm, and whispered, "I didn't think I could love again." That was the night we kissed. It wasn't fireworks, it was something gentler, equa, ieto sarenda. Her lips trembled against mine, and I could feel every ounce of fear and hope tangled together. When we pulled apart, she was crying again, but this time it wasn't sadness. We became something more after that, though it wasn't perfect. There were days she'd shut down completely, retreating into herself, days when I felt helpless, wondering if she'd ever fully trust me or herself again. But love isn't about fixing someone. It's about standing beside them while they rebuild. Months passed, and she began to heal in ways that surprised even her. She started painting again, something she hadn't done since her ex told her she wasn't good enough to be an artist. I encouraged her, bought her canvases, and watched as color slowly returned to her world. One evening, she showed me a finished painting a sunrise over calm water. She smiled shyly and said, "It's us!" After the storm. That's when I realized she wasn't the broken one anymore. I had come into this thinking she needed saving, when really she was teaching me what love meant: to be patient, gentle, and brave. Today, We live in a small house filled with her paintings and my plants. Sometimes we argue over silly things, laundry dishes, or who forgot to feed the cat, but every night she falls asleep with her head on my chest. And I think about that first night on the balcony. The woman I once thought was broken turned out to be the strongest person I know. She didn't just heal herself, she healed me. To love doesn't always arrive shining and perfect. Sometimes it limps in, scarred and hesitant, but if you're patient enough to stay, to listen, to hold someone through their chaos, you'll see the beauty in their cracks, because broken women don't need rescuing. They just need to be loved in a way that reminds them they were whole all along. Thank you so much for listening to our story. If it resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content. See you next time.